Game 1 of our second series today, spawning in the top left corner, playing with the blue Zerg drones. It is from Team NV, DRG.
And spawning here at the bottom right, he's the red Terran player, playing for the team of Shopify Rebellion. Make some noise for BYUN.
So, as a Protoss main yourself, how do you feel about this matchup, Zerg versus Terran?
Well, surprisingly, this is my personal favorite matchup to watch.
And smart man.
Yeah, it's so weird because I know I play main Protoss, but I also play Zerg 2 as my secondary race.
Nice.
And the funny thing is that even despite Protoss being my main race, my favorite players, SC2 players, has always been Zerg players. Well, I guess with the exception of Wings of Liberty. Wings of Liberty, I had my favorites were like White Raw and MC. But Heart of the Swarm, my favorite player was Jaedong. And then as we head into Legacy of the Void, it was Su. So yeah, for the quite a while, my favorite players has been Zerg players. How about you?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you. I am a Su fanboy all the way. Shout out
Nice.
to that man. He has been through so much, in my opinion. I think that he represents the best of the StarCraft community. Dong Ray Gu, though, you cannot deny that this man is a legend himself.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, funny thing about Dong Ray Gu is that I did not realize until recently that he signed on to Team NV. So if you guys didn't know, he signed on to Team NV on March 14th. So just very recently. And usually I'll find those news, the StarCraft 2 news, like the newly signed players news on Team Liquid or maybe through Discord, but I didn't actually hear anything about it. So I was a little bit taken aback to realize that he just recently signed with a new team. But congrats to him. Always great to have the support of a team. And yeah, I can't wait to see him in the year of 2021.
That's right. I'm hearing that he suffers from wrist issues, as do a lot of other StarCraft players. I always find that to be very unfortunate, It's, you're doing what you love. You can't... It's unfortunate to have something like that just sort of holding you back.
Yeah, I mean, BYUN, the other day playing in GSL Code A, had to stop the game just because of his wrist, and he was only playing a best of 5. So yeah, it's really tough because he's one of the best, if not the best, micro player out there, and to see him dealing with wrist issues, it's like, oh man, it's like your heart hurts.
Really
for him.
Feel for him. Yeah, definitely. And we see some Zerglings just sort of popping around, seeing what's up, and we're gonna get a Hellion drop to start things off.
Zeiss in the chat says, Testosis said BYUN should take care of his wrist because wrist issues can be a career ender. And yeah, it's a really hard decision, right? You have to wonder, should he, continue playing on and just like powering through, or should he take a break and try to recover from it? Or maybe, I don't know, this is like kind of last, I guess like the hardest decision is whether he should just like flat out retire from the game. It's a hard decision.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. That is never a decision with any sort of good outcome. Speaking of which, I think our own Antis, Alpha X Antis, he goes to my sibling campus over in Irvine, UC Irvine. He was also suffering from wrist issues. I love the preemptive pool and the drones in the main as the Hellbats are going in. These queens over at the third, taking care of things. Yeah, only 3 drones went down. Wow.
Not a bad defense.
Of course, these Hellings are still denying the mining time over in the main, but they will also get cleaned up as the queens waddle back up to the west side of the map. Oh, but
Oh,
that was a little too early, my guy. Wow.
Oh my god. Imagine he got one more hit on that. Look at all those red drones.
I know. Oh my gosh. You know what? DRG would probably say calculated, right? Yep, that was 100% calculated. Wow. And yet DRG still keeps a, what is that, a 20-something worker lead. Very impressive.
Yeah, he is macroing like a beast here.
Yeah. The third CC from BYUN is not even on location. We do see a, I believe, what is that, a 5 barracks count, sort of powering up for later in the game.
Yeah, I think one of the really strong, traits of BYUN is that he really keeps up with his army production. There's so many games I've seen him where he's like way ahead, not way ahead, way behind in the worker count, but he's like way ahead in the army supply, and a lot of the games he wins that way.
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, we see both of these players just sort of taking their time, powering up. 9 drones on the production tab. Upgrades are very late, I do have to say. 1-1 for the Zerg just starts as 1-1 is about to finish for our Terran, giving our Terran a huge upgrade window to work with. These Zerglings are going to try to chop down a set of rocks. The Mutas come in, find a little bit of damage. Are they going to find a little bit more? Prevent the missile turret from going up just for a little while longer, but the Marines are going to be enough to shoot that away. Honestly, if I were the one microing those Mutas, I would lose them all. Just instantly. You know, no big deal.
We've all been there, my friend.
Oh, definitely.
I know how you feel. Yeah, it's heartbreaking sometimes.
Yeah. Especially like that War Prism loss in the previous series that we just had.
Ah, yeah, that.
Yeah. I do like the use of the Mutas, though. You know, keeping active. Just sort of keeping BYUN on his toes. Keeping active with his Marines as well. DRG really powering up. Going for a 5th as well, as our Red Terran doesn't even have a 4th up and running. Like you said, DRG really is just shining in the background right now.
Yeah, this is pretty insane. Now, the good thing for BYUN, though, he does have an advantage on the upgrades. He's 1-1. Oh, just +1 just finished for... oh, no, that's for air weapons. So he looks like DRG is focusing on the Mutalisk. But yeah, BYUN does have 1-1 upgrades on those Marines, so you got to be careful. Or BYUN's got... not BYUN, DRG's got to be careful not to engage or take too much damage from those Marines.
Right. Just now, the Mutas took a decent Widowmine hit. Only 1 died, thankfully, and the rest can recover just for a short while. But yeah, now we see Thors on the production tab. I love that move. Thors, you know, those big tanks, they just sort of soak up damage. They dish out a lot of damage to the Mutas.
And they also remind you of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's right. The Austrian accent. Playing to some of the most beloved of racial stereotypes in StarCraft. Alright, now we see these Banelings trying to come in for a connection. Not getting the best, and these Zerglings are trying to come in as the Widowmines are about to pop. Wow, those Zerglings came in after the Widowmines popped off their hits on the Mutas, excuse me, and these SCVs are going down in such large numbers. What a good attack from DRG, and he knows when to pull back, knowing not to lose everything just in one go. Wow. Putting himself further in the lead.
Yeah, he's playing this brilliantly. And look at the mini map. Look at how many blue there is. Like all those overlords spread there, making sure there's no drops. All those creep tumors as well, and yeah, this is not looking great here for our Red Terran friend. He's gonna get pushed back here, and oh man, those medevac boosters. He's gonna have to drop all these units here.
Oh no. And that looks like the end of it for that bio, for that game in general. Wow. A very convincing first game.
Yeah, that was pretty dominant play there by DRG. Again, didn't really suffer too much damage to that Healthy and harass, and was just macroing like crazy. And that macro just flooded over to the mid game there, and DRG just manages to convincingly pick up game number 1. Zeiss liking your picture there.
That's right. I gotta find a better one soon. I don't want to misrepresent myself as TeaDragon. I could never hope to be as strong as TeaDragon herself. One day, right? That's the dream.
Yeah, one day. The Vern, I like that. Micro Jackson versus Macro Jackson. Actually, that's pretty accurate, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. We got to see both of our players' strengths and weaknesses here.
Someone asked in the channel, did this channel get created recently? Nope. We have been this channel has been created since 2018 or so. So it's been around for quite some time.
That's right.
But anyhow, let's head into game number 2 here on Pillars of Gold.
All right, game 2. Starting things off in the bottom left corner of the map. Playing as the red Terran, we have BYUN.
And rocking the blue, as well as the Broodor Hatchery design. He's from Team NV. It is DRG.
So I think on this map, the third location, well, it is a general rule of thumb that the Zerg takes the straight third rather than the cross or the triangle third. I think on this map that is definitely going to be the case, as it's just a little bit awkward with the cross, with the high ground and the surrounding low ground in between the natural and the third.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of Zerg, a couple of games where either the Zerg goes for the 12 o'clock or the one with the triangle. It really depends, I think, maybe on either their build, because you see some Zerg that, okay, I'm gonna go for a timing push, a 3 base, maybe all in or something, and then he's like, okay, the triangle base is actually closer to the opponent's base, plus I get to spread the creep closer to my opponent. Or you can go for the 12 o'clock base and go for more of a macro type of game. Again, like you mentioned earlier, it's a bit harder to drop when the Zerg goes for that 12 o'clock base, just because you can't just fly back and forth there. So yeah, right. It'll be interesting to see which base, third base DRG goes for.
Yep, definitely. Just your casual Reaper micro. I say casual, but this is actually takes years and years of practice to pull off. Saving that drone, even saving that Zergling is DRG. Oh, BYUN getting a very nice hit on a Zergling just before the queen pops. Very nice.
Alright, looks like DRG is gonna go for that 12 o'clock base here. Reaper won't be able to deny that third hatch, unfortunately for him. Alright, looks like Marine will deny the Overlord Scout. Of course, this is a map where the main base is quite large, so sometimes you do see the Zerg player go for that Overlord speed to open up the game, just to make it easier to scout what is going on with the Terran player. But then looks like DRG this time around has elected not to go for Overlord speed, instead gone for the Ling speed instead, and just going to rely on his queens to defend.
Yeah, and that might cost him later down the line, as we see 2 factories pumping out 3 Hellions at a time. Blue Flame already almost halfway done. Could be very interesting.
Oh yeah, this is definitely going to be a timing attack. Is the armory up and running? No armory here, so I don't see any Hellbats coming out anytime soon, but still, Blue Flame Hellions, quite strong.
Oh, definitely. We see the Baneling Nest pop down. Very nice safety timing out of DRG. But yeah, these Hellions, they definitely have potential, especially with Blue Flame finishing up right about now. BYUN being very smart, only sending out 2 Hellions onto the map so that DRG does not know that there are more.
Alright, here we go. Hellion's going to go ahead and start going by to across the map here. Of course, DRG does have 4 queens here out on the field. Banelings a little bit late here. And here we go. Hellion's going to go ahead and fry.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy. Close your eyes, guys. This is about to get disgusting.
DRG finished that Evo wall. Just barely finished. Wow, I'm actually impressed so far. But is there more damage to be done? Okay, these Hellions are kind of in an awkward spot trying to prevent the Queens from coming up. It's really very smart. 7 drones in total, 8 drones going down. These Banelings just trying to waddle into position. These Zerglings getting absolutely roasted over at the 3rd as well. This is a lot of damage, and I think, like you mentioned earlier, the lack of Overlord scouting might have cost the DRG win right here and now. GG is called. All of that work in the first game for nothing, it seems like, as BYUN evens the score up 1-1. Wow.
TeaDragon, did you order barbecue drones for dinner or something?
Oh no. I'd be hungry, but I'm not that hungry.
Oh man. You know, I'm actually quite curious how barbecue drones would taste like.
Yeah. It's funny because I feel like Zerg, wouldn't they be very lean, right? They're just all muscle, all utility, short lifespan.
Yeah,
Not sure if that's the choicest of meats.
Oh my god, I like this Zeiss in the chat saying Kentucky Fried Zerglings. Ah, that's a nice one. I give it to you, man. That's a nice one.
They are better in suit, a bit gamey. Oh man.
Oh gosh. Sim in the crop pot for a day. Oh boy. By the way, guys, just a reminder, there is a Matcherino page for this event. Just quickly head on over there. You can use the exclamation Matcherino command in the Twitch chat to bring up the link as well as the coupon code. You just head on over there, enter the coupon code, and you can contribute 50 cents absolutely free to the overall prize pool. Help out the players. I'm sure they'll definitely appreciate it. And if you want to keep track of the bracket, you can of course type in exclamation bracket or exclamation B. That shall bring up the Wikipedia page so that you can see and track how this tournament and event is going. So far, we did have Dream losing to Zound in the first series, so Zound will head into the finals, and then he will be facing against the winner of this series here. And this series is all tied up 1-1 as we head into game number 3 on Lightshade.
All right, starting things off here in game 3, tied 1-1. Playing for Team NV, it is the Blue Zerg, DRG.
And spawning here at the top left, playing as the red Terran player, representing the team of Shopify Rebellion, it is BYUN.
This is already getting kind of interesting. We don't see a barracks going down at BYUN's main. I like it. There we go. Yes, sir.
Now that
Who says Zerg can be the only greedy race, right? Come on.
This is quite the risk here, but it looks like it's going to pay off as the Zerg player is not going for any type of rush here.
So I'm not really familiar with DRG pre-2018. Was he always known as a macro-oriented player?
I would say he is a pretty strong macro player. He does, you know, do a very good job at droning. But you know, he can still pull out the occasional cheese or maybe even proxy. But yeah, I think he's a kind of a well balanced player. It's been reflected on GSL where he did, you know, in the last couple of GSL seasons, he's got some nice results because he is a really well balanced player. He can play the macro game. He can play the cheesy game, early cheesy game as well. And yeah, I'm expecting him to do well again in this upcoming GSL season.
Oh, definitely. I'm always excited for the next season of GSL. All right, so this game takes me back to last series with Green as red turn. We see 3 barracks coming up for BYUN.
Yeah, this is going to be a 3 racks timing push. And, this Overlord actually going to get some vision on this unless he pulls back. Oh, he pulls back. Oh, look at that. He only reveals a couple of Marines. He is hiding this really well.
Yeah, that number of Marines might give DRG some clue as to what's going on, being like, hey, those aren't Hellions, what's going on here? But obviously the Overlord did not get the full story, not seeing the 3 racks, not seeing the factory, just now about to finish up.
Yep, this is going to definitely be a 2 base timing push. Once Stim is ready, we'll see if he researches Combat Shield along with that. But yeah, it's going to be a hard push here. And again, DRG tends to be a greedy player sometimes. You can see he's ahead 10 workers already as he's bypassing making units. And that could come up to bite him in the behind here very soon as the Stim is underway.
That's right, Stim is already almost done, and the Baneling Nest is just barely halfway done. I'm not too sure that this safety timing will be enough to keep DRG safe, if you will. These 4 queens up at the front, but look, DRG is still droning. I'm not so sure about this. The 3rd CC at the front really sells it, you know? That's what really tells DRG, hey, this is gonna be a macro game. Don't worry about anything that I'm doing. You just do you. But look at that, the Marines are already moving across. Oh, there we go. We do have a sizable number of Zerglings coming up. Now I feel a little bit better for DRG.
Yeah, it seems like he's just so well versed on the timing of when to make units, when to drone. And looks like this is going to turn out pretty well for him. That does not look like a scary force of Marines, by the way. So I fully expect DRG to hold on to this or to defend this without not much problem.
Yep, definitely. Medevacs are going to arrive, drop off some reinforcements as these Marines begin posturing on the creep. But like you said, I don't know, you know, you've got all of these Banelings, or all of these Zerglings along with some Banelings. You've got these Queens, and here we go. Is DRG going to get this around? The Marines are surrounded, but BYUN with his excellent micro picks up 2 full medevacs and drops them off on the high ground. Very, very well played. Saves those Marines.
Looks like he will go ahead and start clearing out some of these creep here.
Those medevacs are really doing their best, trailing behind, being like, hey, stop, let me heal you for a second. Or at least that's how I imagine them to be acting. So it looks like out of BYUN, just some very standard Marine medevac tank. We see him going up to 5 barracks as the 3rd orbital has finished. Yeah, both players, again, powering up just like before. DRG taking that extreme worker lead. What is that? Almost 30 workers. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Even in this matchup, 30 workers is quite a lot. Quite a lot.
Indeed. And he even has the 4th base up and running before BYUN has even established his 3rd base. So he is just way ahead in the econ game. It's going to be up to BYUN to find some opening, some vulnerability that he can exploit to even up this the economy there.
That's right. So he's got this 2-pronged sort of shenanigans going on. Oh, just a few Marines die, but it's enough for the medevacs to have full 2 loads. Picks off a couple of queens, picks off a lot of creep tumors, which is going to help for future pushes. But DRG is already ready for the northern split double drop as well. Those Marines also have to pick up and get on out of there. We did see some target firing on a few banelings, just trying to squeeze out a little bit of value here and there. But overall, DRG looking in a fantastic macro spot, even in terms of the upgrade as well.
Yeah, as you can see in the income graph as well, just a huge blue spike there.
Yeah. Yeah, actually the Zerg's 1-1 is going to finish almost around when the Terran's 1-1 finished. They're very close. So that is basically this game has no upgrade advantage or upgrade window. We see actually the northern drop finding some damage as the Zerglings to the south are going to move right on forward and try to see what they can do at the prospective 4th location. And these Marines have gone unchecked. They're actually just going to skim right on into the natural line and pick off 9 drones just like that. Excellent target fire on those initial banelings. They're going to stay alive for a little while longer, denying the +2 attack out of the Zerg. Amazing. That's the entire Zerg army. Well, medevac does get picked off on the exit, but wow, that was... I mean, if there's one thing that can bring BYUN back into this game, into this macro game, not that he was out of it, but just that, you know, he was not in the lead, this is definitely one of those things.
Yeah, he definitely has opened up this game and made it more even than it was just a couple of minutes ago. And once more, so relentless with these harasses. This is the strength of BYUN, you know, just harassing everywhere, all around the place, forcing the Zerg player to kind of scramble left and right, see how many army that he can allocate to one battle, and then another, and then of course another battle to the right side. So yeah, he's just pulling DRG, and yeah, he has definitely evened up the game thus far.
Yep, definitely. It's so interesting to see that the 4th command center is not done, and it's already approaching 10 minutes. Although BYUN is doing a great job so far of denying creep spread. Oh, and that is a lot of Zerglings and Banelings. The siege tanks are sort of caught out in the open. I don't know about this for...
Oh man. Even 2 random queens there just joining up with the fight.
Who needs Hydralisk? Just bring your queens. That single drop, I believe that used to be a double drop to the north. Didn't really get much done. Yeah, that last engagement sort of looked like DRG doesn't really care about the creep, you know? Who needs creep? Just run your Zerglings in.
Well, so far we do see Hive is about to be up here for DRG. That's going to allow him to get those tier 3 units such as the Brood Lords or the Ultralists. That's going to definitely help out. I would imagine, of course, that he's going to go for Ultralist just because he has the Ling and Baneling. So he already has the melee upgrade, so might as well go for the Ultralist. And also, this is a huge map, so I think Broodlords is actually quite inefficient here as it's pretty slow. So there we go. Ultralist Cavern has been plotted down, and we will see Ultralist Tech out in the field very soon.
I love how DRG purposely excludes taking the second Vespian Geyser in the main, as well as the cross third, simply because the Ling Bane is so, comparatively, so mineral heavy. I know that whenever I try to do this sort of playstyle, I always end up floating a lot of gas. And then I start thinking, well, you know, what if I just skip ultras and go straight to infestors? And it doesn't really work out for me.
Well, the one thing though that I mean, I like where DRG has put himself in terms of how he has himself set up. But the one thing that I would love him to kind of focus a little bit more on is that creep spread. We've seen in the previous games where he was on top of it, but this game around hasn't quite spread as far as I would like, and just, you know, there hasn't really been a lot of action. You know, there has been a couple of skirmishes here and there, but I would definitely love to see him, you know, kind of spread that a bit more there. But hold that thought, there is a little bit of a battle here out in the middle, and we'll force DRG back for the time being.
And that sort of small skirmish is what Terran is actually looking for, because if micro properly, you do take efficient trades. And eventually you can get so efficient that it doesn't matter how many more drones the Zerg has, you will simply just come out ahead. Although those Zerglings and Banelings really trying to get some kills, those medevacs are forced to lift off. Vipers are... When did Vipers get out? What? I'm so confused. Full energy Vipers, like all of a sudden, it seems as though they appeared out of nowhere, putting down some parasitic bombs, excellent splits on the medevacs. This is going to be interesting. This is already quite a treat to watch. We see Ghosts already out on the field. That is a lot of tanks as well. And keep in mind, Ling Bane is very susceptible to killing things quickly and dying quickly.
Alright, looks like we're heading into that later stage, the late game here. Both players are just macroing and setting up their bases, as well as kind of working towards the army composition. As you see, the Terran player has added in a bunch of ghosts here to help with those Vipers and ghosts, of course. Or not the ghost, the Ultralisk. While we have a little bit of a hiccup here.
Oh, what is going on? I think that's me. I think I'm trying to... Not bad. My connection with the KR servers is not the strongest.
Okay, looks like it's all right now. So hopefully that won't persist. But anyhow, we do see a Ling Baneley run by here onto the 12 o'clock base. Does pick up 10 SCVs. Now, at this point, is not the worst thing in the world. He's still got a healthy amount of workers. So, but look at that cheeky Ling burrow there at the 12 o'clock base.
I love it.
Oh man.
You would think that such a large hunk of metal could just squish something as small as a Zergling, but no. Look at DRG with that huge mineral bank. Gas already sort of just being dumped into corruptors. I do like that move. But yeah, like you said, we're definitely headed into the later stages of the game.
Alright. DRG once again putting on the pressure here onto the left side. BYUN is going to have to definitely position some of these tanks and units to make sure that these double prong attacks doesn't do any more damage, because right now, the past couple of minutes, DRG has been putting on the hurt onto BYUN, taking down a bunch of SCVs. So you gotta be careful not to lose any more. And here, losing those two tanks there. Oh man,
pretty big catch over there, yeah. Ultras are now out onto the field. Of course, they do tend to jump around, being big and bulky. And that is a lot of full energy ghosts, yeah. I think if BYUN can keep up his defense, he will put himself into a better situation, as judged by the banks. Of course, both players are very similar in supply, which means that if the engagements are carefully managed, neither one is expected to die quickly. As we see these Ultralisks running into the southern part of the map, as well as a small Zergling attack up into the climax phase. But Blinding Clouds goes down on the tanks. Is it enough to break through? Oh, huge snipes! Oh my gosh, yeah. No, you don't break a Terran that way. Unless you do it 50 more times, who knows?
Well, it's definitely hard to break a turtling Terran player. The good thing though is that he still has a lot of these ghosts on almost full energy. And look at those snipe once again. The ultras go down in the blink of an eye, and DRG once again being forced to back out here. And he doesn't have the greatest bank in terms of the gas count, so DRG's got to be careful not to just overextend and just be careless.
Yeah, definitely. You said it. The gas is key in this matchup at this point in time, right? The gas gives you all of the important units for both sides. You've got the ghosts, the liberators, the siege tanks, even planetary fortresses if you want to count those. For the Zerg, you've got those spellcasters, right? You've got the Vipers, you've got the big units like the Ultras, and eventually Broodlords. We do see that Spire going down.
I could have sworn he threw down a Spire earlier on, but maybe that's for a second Spire. Oh, we have another little bit of a lag here. Hopefully.
Let me see what is going on. Just 1 second as we figure out what's going on. Yeah, my ping's looking pretty high.
Alright, let me check my ping. 120 ping for me. Pretty normal. What's your ping?
Around 200.
Oh.
Yeah.
All
if
right,
it goes up again, I can always disconnect for the game.
All right, we'll see.
Sure
Hopefully, it's not too bad. But anyhow, all right. Looks like we will go ahead and try to resume this. And yeah, this is a really important phase of the game right now, because I mean, both of them are maxed out, but one bad battle can pretty much end it.
DRG with the double prong again. These Banelings just rolling through, trying to see whatever they can crash into, but these ghosts have not gone down. Wow, and all that's left are Zerglings, Ultras, and a few Corruptors on the run again. Zerglings to the south are getting some excellent SCV damage, but it's kind of getting to that point where you almost want your SCVs to be sacrificed, because that makes more room for armies, since you already have mules. Yeah, this is such an interesting spot. Once the ghost count gets up to a critical mass, it becomes very, very difficult. Extremely difficult for the Zerg to push in.
The thing is that BYUN doesn't have the mineral bank where he can start losing all those SCVs, so I feel like yeah, he's definitely gonna have to make sure not to keep losing all these SCVs to these Banelings and double prong attack. And as you can see, the map is pretty much split. There's only one remaining base here onto the bottom left side that has yet to be taken. DRG has pretty much taken at least one of BYUN's bases. So if this plays out to the very, very late stages, DRG is going to definitely have the advantage, as he has more resources mined and more resources able to just lose here. So BYUN is going to have to start getting some more efficient trades.
That's right. Okay, so we see another sort of crash in as the Banelings. That's so many Banelings. I barely see any Zerglings left. The ghosts really just kind of run for their lives. Planetary goes down, but the ghosts will live. And all that's left are a couple of Ultralists chopping their way through whatever they can. Now they back up. The ghosts come back in with the snipes, and it's again, it's sort of that push and pull that really is just sort of favoring BYUN. BYUN on the south side as well, cleaning up creep, got that base snipe as well, making sure that the south side is still open to him, as like you said, we do have that sort of split down the middle of the map.
Remember earlier in the series, we were talking about how like BYUN has so many games where he's just like way behind in the worker count, but way ahead in the army count. Well, here we are, guys, ladies and gentlemen. We are at that same scenario here, and yeah, it's it's like the story of BYUN's life.
If it works, it works. You know, who needs SUVs, right? Just get army. It's amazing.
Oh,
it
man.
seems like DRG has the same idea, just sort of sitting back, again, you know, banking up, waiting for things to happen, such as the flyer upgrades, as well as, I believe, there should be thrusters out on the field. Actually, only 4, so not really much Broodlord potential at the moment. Running very low on gas, and we see these ghosts coming in here. Lots of scans going down, including creep, some bio to the north. Yeah, this is well played by both players.
All right, we're heading into the 21-minute mark of this game, and I have yet to really know who is going to clearly the winner here. It's still pretty close. The army supply doesn't suggest so, but look, he does have the Ultralist, so that kind of inflates the supply a little bit. If he can get some nice Balen connection, that might turn the game around, but there's a really nice defensive setup here by BYUN.
Jeez, these Zerglings showing off their upgrades, showing off their fangs, whatever they have, as well as to the north. Oh my gosh, these ghosts just getting snipe after snipe, keeping their energy and staying alive. I love it. And DRG knows what's up. He's gonna evacuate this northern base. Says, "Yep, I'm done. Goodbye."
Oh, that's a really nice pick up there, limiting the mining of DRG. And again, DRG doesn't have a lot of banking. He is not maxed out, guys. So it's
That's
still
right.
anyone's game, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Large massive Zerglings run in, but you take one look, you see 2 siege tanks, a planetary, and then there are 2 more siege tanks behind that. They're not breaking that because Zerglings. Like we said, this is BYUN's strength, right? This is really the best of Terran, being able to multitask, pushing the Zerg on multiple fronts. We see these very low health overstimmed Marauders to the south. We see that quad drop to the north. Being handled very expertly with the Corruptors and the Zerglings, but still getting that pick off on the base directly to the right. Wow, and these ghosts, check that out, being used as offense, picking off another base. This is really well played by BYUN. Look at this, look at the bank now, right? What an awkward position for DRG.
Yeah, he has BYUN definitely has had a nice time at sniping off bases and disrupting the economy of DRG, and now DRG taking another awkward fight.
Oh my gosh, GG is called. DRG probably did the same thing as me. Looked up in the right-hand corner and saw that the supply was dipped down to 120 out of 200. GG's out. Amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
Very well played by BYUN.
Yeah, I agree. It was I mean, it didn't start off well for him.
Right.
But yeah, he managed to play out brilliantly, playing the BYUN style. He was the one dictating the pace of the game throughout, and yeah, that shows why he's considered one of the best, if not the best, micro player out there. Why he has a nickname Micro Jackson, because of that. Games like that, where his micro and his APM is just on full display there.
Yeah, definitely. Triple M showing its use at all stages in the game. Starting off early and then getting into the late game, picking up base after base. Maybe not key to the big defensive moments, such as when DRG was trying to just run through with all of the Banelings, all of the Ultralists, putting down blinding clouds left and right. Maybe not as useful there, but still, definitely key to winning the game.
Yeah. And as someone says in the chat, slowly whittling down the Zerg player, and that's exactly what he did. And now
Yep.
he is going to enjoy a 2-1 lead. One game away from clinching this series here on the map of Oxide. Let's see if he can do it.
That's right. Match point for our Red Terran up in the top right corner of this map. Up 2-1 in this best of 3. It is BYUN.
And spawning here at the top right. Playing as the Red Terran player. Playing for the team of the Shopify Rebellion. And looking to close out the series. It is BYUN.
That's my bad. I skipped DRG over there.
Oh, you did? Oh, I didn't even notice. Oh, good.
Well, we all know who he is. Playing for Team Envy. Still playing a very solid game that last 20 minutes. It's not like he wasn't playing well. It was just that he was sort of letting himself being whittled down by BYUN's tactics.
Yeah, and it's such a shame because DRG was, I mean, you know, his macro was so on display there, going up to like 90 plus drones or something like that.
Right,
and,
right.
You know, he had like almost all the bases as well, but he just got pulled left and right, and kind of been got whittled away, as someone stated in the Twitch chat, and yeah, just lost the game there, unfortunately. Now he still has a chance to tie up the series. Of course, this is the best of 5. Now it will be crazy because our first series went the distance and went to 5 games. Will this series also go to 5 games? We shall see.
So we see DRG with that signature Zerg greed going for a very early third. I believe that is actually before the Queens. Before the pool even finishes. Very interesting.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to go ahead and play this more of a macro game, as he is. This is his strong suit, of course. And I would imagine that BYUN is going to go for a timing attack once more. Factory is going to switch over.
2 Hellions coming out. Yep.
Now,
it's
of course,
so interesting to see the sort of meta where the players, you know, they've probably played each other so often, whether they be teammates or whether it be because they're too high up on the ladder. But it's sort of like they're trying to outgreed each other, as we saw with, for example, in previous games, we saw a CC before Barracks. In this game, we're seeing a quick third from the Zerg. And we do see that fusion core coming down. I do like that. So we know that BYUN is up to no good with those battle cruisers, cattle bruisers, as I like to call them. Tech Lab going down on that starport.
Nice. I like this. He's changing it up. The previous games, he's never gone for any of this. Never even gone for a Banshee harass to open up the game. And so to kind of switch it up in this game, and you know what? It's not the worst game to switch it up on because he is ahead. He does have a game to 4 to lose. So even if this does, fails and he loses the game, he's still alive. He can still play in the ace, the 5th match. But if this works, this will be a pretty sweet victory here.
Yep, you said it. BYUN, this is his game to lose, right? And we're going to have to see just how much damage this BC does. BCs, they have in the right hand so much potential. We do see these Hellions just trying to poke in. The Queens are already in position. Very nice out of DRG, just sort of zoning away these 4 Hellions. Now, I don't believe that the Overlord has actually spotted anything of significance, so this will be interesting to see with the BC already 2/3 done. Will DRG have enough to defend? That is a lot of Queens, I do have to say.
Oh yeah, for sure. Maybe DRG does have a heads up on this because he hasn't made this many queens before in the previous game, so yeah, maybe he's having some kind of spidey senses, thinking that there might be some battle cruisers on the way here.
Yep. Now we see that first BC out. Oh, I don't think the Zergling saw it. Quite a lot of Hellions going across the map. I believe the BC. There we go. See how much damage it gets done. Like you said, a lot of queens, right? So DRG probably had a sense that something was up. Hellions not really getting too much damage done just yet. Some Banelings over here. Oh! Very nice. The Banelings just sort of lined up for the Hellions to snipe. That BC still doing its work. Just staying alive over in the back of the main of the Zerg. Yeah, and so far, DRG has done very well with the defense. Only 3 drones going down so far.
Yeah, I mean, you expect this to do a little bit more damage. He did get, snipe up a good amount of Banelings though, so that was good and that was nice. But only 3 drones. That's not the best. I'm sure he probably wanted like maybe 10 drones or something like that, or 15 possibly.
Yeah, definitely. Now we see a few more Banelings being picked off, and really we're seeing a demonstration of why in the early game Terran prefers to go Hellions instead of Marines against the Zerg. Now we see this very awkward interaction where a bunch of these Overlords are caught out on the map, and the BC is just like, hey, it's free real estate, I'll take it. You need some more of those kills, right?
Man, these poor Overlords are just trying to sightsee,
Yeah, they're pacifists, they're not even fighting.
Yeah. And this poor bully battlecruiser is just like interrupting them, but you know what? Queens will go ahead and stand up for the bully, stand up to the bully and protect those Overlords. That's
right. I do like this move a lot. Using the Zerglings to knock out those rocks preemptively. I always have trouble with that myself. It gets to that point in the game where I'm like, I really should have taken care of these rocks a long time ago. And it ends up costing me way more than it should. Alright, so we see 5 barracks, we see combat shield coming out. +1/+1 about to finish for our Terran. +1/+1 about to, or just started, excuse me, for the Zerg. Going back into that Muta sort of play with the +1 air attack. We're going to see something very similar to game 1. Oh, and the wraparound on the Hellions with the Zerglings. Nope.
Oh.
Hellions find that spot. Wow. Oh! Do they actually? No, they don't. The BC, the Cattle Bruiser, is going to come into the main, though. Find a little bit more damage, potentially. This big bio push, though, clearing out a lot of creep at the same time. I can barely keep up with everything that's going on.
Yeah, there's so much happening on the map. There's a harass here in the main. There's a big battle in the middle. Mutalisks are going to come into play. The tanks get cleaned up. There are still a lot of Marines in the back end. All the Banelings has been wiped out, so DRG cannot get on top of these Marines. And that Battlecruiser is still in the main base, annoying and harassing the mineral line here. Does he have a... Oh, he does have a teleport just in time. Nice.
Jeez. Yeah, BYUN taking decent trades pretty much on all fronts, right? Taking out the Queens with the bio, setting up for a big bio push as well, getting the BC out. I believe that BC has like something like 20 kills at this point.
Alright, DRG biding his time, trying to morph in some additional Banelings. He might want to wait for the upgrades to finish before engaging here. The upgrades are just finished. There we go. But does he have enough on the ground? Oh, wow. The majority of these Banelings are gone, and the Marines are going to go ahead and charge right into this dirt face here. And potentially, yep, he does it. He does it. BYUN to close out the game with a 3-1 solid victory.
Wow. It looks like changing things up really paid off for BYUN.